Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 10th of June. The first important news is about ISRO to launch Chandrayaan-3 by mid of July. This is the confirmation coming from the ISRO. Second, WHO new study on diarrhea disease death. Important finding that will help you to write even an example for the means purposes, specifically for the section where health issues are related. Third, government to clarify TCS on the foreign spend. We'll see some of the recent changes proposed by the Ministry of Finance. Second last, that is CEA, that is Chief Economic Advisor. The estimations for the GDP growth. And the last is an editorial, a pragmatic approach for better India-Nepal ties. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And before I start, if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do hit that like button. So starting the session with the first news, that is ISRO to launch Chandrayaan-3 by mid of July 2023. Something important for General Studies Paper 3, that is the achievement of India in science and technology, Indianization of technology and development of new technology. So the Indian Space Research Organization, they have officially come up with the confirmation and said that in a fresh bid to land the rover to the moon, this is something that is expected by the mid of this year, by 2023. And this is Chandrayaan-3. India has already made an attempt for Chandrayaan-2, but that was not successful. I'll give you a brief about that in a while. Now, Chandrayaan Mission 3 is identical to the Chandrayaan-2, which has failed. And it was launched actually in September 2019 when the Bikram lander crashed to the surface of the moon while negotiating an automated soft landing. So this was a basic on the background on the part of the context. Now, one thing that is important for a country that has already, the mission is there. For United States, we have Artemis. India, Chandrayaan-3. These all are the aligned project. For China, we have Chain Project, and Russia, Luna 25. So there can be a pair-based questions in UPSC prelims examination, and even these type of basic information will help you to cover the question paper. Now, before I come to the part of Chandrayaan-3, a basic about Chandrayaan-2 mission. It was actually failed, as I've told you the date. This was failed on September 7, 2019. So the mission was aimed to develop and demonstrate the key technology to end-to-end lunar mission capabilities, including the soft landing rover in the lunar surface. Now, this mission, instead of an orbiter of a mission, if you see the part of the operations that was there, Vikram, that is the Vikram Sarabhai, lander Pragyan, that is wisdom, and rover, all these were the equipment or instrument that was there to about the study. But it has failed, so substantially the progressive was not there. The first phase of the descent was performed nominally from the altitude of 30 kilometers to 7.4 kilometers above the moon's surface. So this was basic about the Chandrayaan-2, which was not successful. Now we'll see the Chandrayaan-3 mission and what are the follow-up that ISRO is having. So this is on follow-on mission to demonstrate and even to have a capabilities to ensure that the part of the safe landing and the rover missions are there, which is something ISRO is looking forward to make this a successful event. Now it consists of lander rover configurations, and it would be launched by LVM-3 from Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota. It consists of indigenous lander module, the propulsion module that covers, and the lander and the rover will have a scientific payload that will carry out the experiment in the lunar missions. So some of the configuration that was there for the two has been replicated with advanced version and state-of-art technologies. Now, क्या objective है Chandrayaan-3 की? I mean, this is again important both for prelims and mains examination. For any mission, you should know its objective. So first, that it aims to demonstrate the safe and soft landing on the lunar surface. This is the first objective. Second, to demonstrate the rover roving on the moon. And third, that is to conduct the in situ scientific experiment. So with all this efforts, ISRO will be launching Chandrayaan-3 in the month of July for this year, that is 2023. And moving to the other news, that is WHO new study on diarrhea disease death. Something important for General Studies paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementation. And this is again important for the same topic, for the same paper of General Studies, where issues related to health and management is mentioned in the syllabus. Now, the new study that was conducted by the World Health Organization, this is WHO, and before I proceed with the discussion, just to tell you, ये जो survey की गई है, जो study की गई है, this was on the request made by the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. So this can be a factually important information for your prelims examination. Now, what was the finding with the WHO? It says at the prima facie, it says that almost 4 lakh diarrhea disease death can be averted. Averted means can be stopped, can be prevented if Jal Jeevan Mission meets its target providing clean water to the rural household. Very, very important fact, because Jal Jeevan Mission is something which government is focusing. And if you talk about the tapped water which government has promised, before COVID-19, it was 2024. The deadline was there that for each and every household, the tapped water will be provided. Possibly it has reached, but due to COVID-19, the delay is there. By an year or two, we'll be achieving it. Now, as I've told you that the request was made from the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. तो उन्हें बताया गया कि आप एक ऐसी स्टडी करें so that there can be some potential gain associated on the cost saving due to increased access to the safety management and drinking water in India. Now, the government has launched Jal Jeevan Mission way back in 2019. It's a nationwide program which aims to provide all households in rural area with safe and adequate drinking water through individual tap connections to next year. Something very important. You can expect a direct question in Jal Jeevan Mission itself. So you should know some of the salient feature, the significant salient feature of Jal Jeevan Mission. Now, finding of the studies की अगर बात करें, the study that is there, it found that the Jal Jeevan Mission, if it is implemented well, it can avert the 4 lakh death that can be there possibly due to diarrhea, and it can avoid 14 million, the part of the DALYs, that is disability adjusted life year from the diarrhea. And according to official figure, till now 62% of the rural household have been provided with a tap water connection. So these are the current achievement as of now. This you can count as that's 2022 because the financial year is accordingly calculated. Now, the study said that the providing a tap connections to every household will result in the significant time saved water collections, specifically among the women. So definitely the part of the development, and even when it comes to conservation of the water and making efficient use, women are something they are having a good sense of understanding about how the potential water can be used and do not be wasted. Now, the target and achievement so far, as per the study, the center, the part of the details that is coming from the central government, the center said that it will achieve 100% coverage of the Jal Jeevan missions by 2024. And I personally feel if a government is putting its best possible effort, they can achieve it. And so far, 5 states, including Gujarat, Telangana, Haryana, Punjab, have fully covered the part of Jal Jeevan mission. And if centers succeed, the Jal Jeevan missions is nearly 3.6 trillion enterprises will provide a pipe portal through water, pipe portal to all over the India. Currently, 12.3 crore rural households have 62% of the piped water connections from 3.2 crore, or about 16% from 2019. So you can see the progress which is there. In 2019, this was at 16.6%, and now at 2022 and 23, this data is 62%. So definitely a commendable success when the part of the progress that has been made is evident. The center claims that it will achieve 100% of the tapped water connection by 2024. Now moving to the other news, government to clarify TCS on foreign spending, something important for General Studies paper 3 means, that is Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource growth and development. Ministry of Finance has issued a fresh clarification, और ये clarification है with regards to the tax collection at sources, which is also known as TCS, right? So it has said that the clarification which was there, that aims to address the doubt over the applicability of 20% of the tax levied on the overseas spending from 1st of July 2023. तो उसको लेकर के कुछ डाउट्स हैं, मिनिस्ट्री ने फिर से क्लैरिफिकेशन दी है, बट जस्ट टू टेल यू, स्टिल वी डू नॉट हैव एनी क्लियर कट इंफॉर्मेशन. The union budget had raised the tax collection at sources to 20% from 5%, जो कि पहले 5% थी, and this is now 20%. So nowadays UPSC will directly ask you what is the percentage change. तो आपको पता होना चाहिए this is 15%. I mean, if you are knowing the previous data तो आपके लिए काफ़ी आसान होगा. If not, then you have to check it out. So 15% change हुई है पहले से, and it says that the outflow under the Liberalised Remittances scheme, which is also known as LRS, which actually permitted $2.5 lakh to be spent abroad. तो यहाँ पे इतनी स्पेंडिंग को लेकर के आरबीआई की अप्रूवल हो ना हो, इसको लेकर के भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा डिबेट हुई, एंड इवन टू सम एक्सटेंट दिस अमाउंट हैज़ बीन एग्जेम्प्टेड फ्रॉम आरबीआई परव्यू, बट गवर्नमेंट ने उसे बढ़ा करके 7 लाख रुपीज एंड सम अदर डिटेल्स आर देयर, आई विल टेल यू इन अ व्हाइल. Now, one important scheme, that is Liberalised Remittances scheme. This is also known as LRS. The scheme was introduced by the Reserve Bank of India way back in 2004, right? So this scheme is a part of FEMA, that is the Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999, which lays down guideline for outward remittances for India. And the LRS, all resident individual, including the minor, are allowed to freely remit up to 2,05,000 per year in the financial year. So ये US dollars में इतनी फेयर को allowed की गई. This can be, there can be for any permissible currencies or capital account transactions or combinations of both. Now, some concern that has been raised with the recent rules and regulation from the Government of India. The notification evoked the criticism over the Finance Ministry's issued statement that the credit card spend above 7 lakh rupees per annum will only mount under the LRS. This is what the government said. However, a formal notifications detailing the threshold is yet to be issued from the Government of India or the Ministry of Finance. The issues concern the payment through the credit card only as a debit card payout, which treated under the LRS even earlier. Now, moving to the other news, CEA, that is the Chief Economic Advisor, has said that GDP growth estimate forecast, what is the part of the progress can be made. Something important for General Studies paper 3, that is Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource growth and development. So according to the Chief Economic Advisor, India's economy is now on autopilot mode, and it is to grow steadily at the range of 6.5 to 7% till 2030 with no further reform. This is what the Chief Economic Advisor has actually forecasted about India's growth. And he noted that the initial assessment of 7.2% of the GDP growth for 2023 could be an underestimate. Now, growth trend की अगर बात करें, as per the details coming from the Chief Economic Advisor, he said that the Indian economy has been prone to overheating and 3 to 4 years of the strong growth over the past 3 decades. And India could now grow for a longer period for like 7 to 10 years like China, which was there for 1779 to 2000 without running into overheating problems. See, after COVID-19, we have seen that the performance of different sector is recovering. Government has come up with PLI scheme. Many things are streamlined. See, finances is a big issue when it comes to the part of overall contributions and development. So something has been shorted and completely, see, I mean, the expert are giving opinion, but we have to see that how situation also fluctuates. Now, while 7.2% of the GDP growth estimate last year were higher than what many were accept. तो पहले जो anticipations की गई थी actual growth उससे कहीं ज़्यादा हुई. Now, budget forecast, the union budget has four priority, specifically with regards to PM Gati Shakti, inclusive development, productivity enhanced investment, and financing investment. So these part of the policy from the government of India will definitely call for an inclusive development of the country, which will ultimately contribute in the overall GDP. Now, the union budget effective capital expenditure is expected to increase by 27%, and this will be 4.1% of the total GDP productions. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, a pragmatic approach for better India-Nepal ties. Something important for gender studies paper 2, that is India and its neighborhood relations. So what I'll be discussing under this editorial, first is about the theme. The theme of and the focus of this article is India-Nepal ties. We'll see the agreement in different sector towards the economic integrations, cooperations for payment and technology, and the conclusion part. So you must be aware of the fact, and I have made a discussion in this regard, that Nepal Prime Minister has visited India recently, and India and Nepal have launched several connectivity and energy cooperations initiative during the meeting when the Prime Minister of Nepal visited India. This include the cross-border passengers train, which will be there between India and Nepal. So the Prime Minister of Nepal, Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachand, was the first bilateral visit since he has assumed the office for the current term, which is a notable one. And just to tell you, कई सारे ऐसी debate रही है with regards to map, Lipu Lake, Kala Pani, Limpu Durwa, which is a region in Uttarakhand. So there was a dispute regarding to map, and the relationship between India and Nepal was not on synchronous with each other. Now, India and Nepal were able to review the entire spectrum of bilateral agenda covering the political, economical, trade, energy, security, and developmental cooperations. And just to tell you, the potential of Nepal is very high when it comes to hydropower sectors, and India cannot underestimate the Nepal potential. We have to be on equal far footing. Agreements in different sectors की गई है, which are the sectors. Definitely the first and foremost potential of Nepal is hydropower. So hydropower is something which is important. The both countries look forward to resolve the border dispute, as I've told you, specifically with regards to the map outlay in the region of Uttarakhand, where Kala Pani, Lipu Lake, Limpudurwa, these are the region. You can check out, I mean, the map is completely there in the Google. Now, the two sides have also signed a MOU between NPC and VUCL, and these were the development process that will take place in the lower hydroelectric project between SVN and Investment Board of Nepal. They have also inaugurated the checkpost, that is ICP in the Nepalganj in Nepal and Rapidia in India side. Towards economic integrations की अगर बात करें, see, definitely the part of India and Nepal is integrated. Their real priorities are there, such as hydropower cooperation is one among them. The part of the energy supply is there, infrastructure development, access to Indian river transport, innovations, tourism, and better connectivity. So this is something that prospect for countries' development. And joint statement for the corporations were committed for the both sides, which call for power generations in Nepal, development of cross-border transmissions by directional power trade, and even the part of cooperations between the national grid. And Nepal have invited Indian firm to develop the construction and operations of the renewable and hydropower project, which Nepal has a forte and has a potential in hydropowers. Now, cooperations for payments and technology. This is again an area where the cooperation was made and MOU was also signed. So enhancing digital financial connectivity is an important and crucial aspect. And even the National Payment Corporation of India, which is also known as NPCI, एक अम्ब्रेला बॉडी है जो इंडिया के सारे पेमेंट और सेटलमेंट को देखती है. And they have collaborated with Nepal Clearing House for the cross-border digital payment, and even RuPay card has also been provided to the Nepal users. It also created the ground station for supply of 300 user terminals and South Asia satellite Nepal under the assistance in port. This would also promote the regional cooperation in the space sector and also provide the applications like broadcasting, telemedicines, teleeducations, e-governance, banking, ATM services, meteorological data transmissions, disaster response, networking, and other research institutions. Now, to conclude the part of this visit for the Prime Minister of Nepal, the real challenge for Nepal is to depolitize the cooperations between India, especially in the power sources cooperations, improve the quality of democracy, governance, and check out unpaid corruptions, which is alarming by South Asian standard. And it may also address the part of perception in Nepal that is no longer for the foreign policy priority and the sense of ownership, equity credit for the forward movement, such as hydropower, to have a political spectrum rather than only for the government of the day. And a steady focus on development will boost the bilateral ties. So this was all about the part of the editorial. Moving ahead with the MCQ questions. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday's questions. For first question, the correct option is A. For second question, the correct option is C. Today's MCQ for practice, that is the sickle cell disease, which among the following is correct? It's a group of disorder that affects hemoglobin and symptoms like sickle cell caused by sickling of the white blood cell. So check out for the correct option. Second question of the day, it's Artemis 1. It's a crewed mission of NASA. It aims to build platform for the human presence on the moon. So I have already made a discussion. This would be a cakewalk for you. You will be easily able to answer this. Check out for the correct option. And practicing a lot more current affairs contemporary question will give you an added advantages over the upcoming prelims examination. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis, followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.